All right. Hey, good evening, everyone. We have a quorum. Thank you all for finding time to do this tonight. I know you all have busy schedules, so let me open this meeting. Hi, this is Bob Connors, Chair of the Newbury Conservation Commission. I call the February 22nd meeting to order. Please let me confirm that all members and persons anticipated in this agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. I do not see Mary Rimmer at this point yet. Woody?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Mick Brown?
I am here, sir.
Thank you, Mick. Brad will not be here. TJ?
I am here.
Okay. Diane O'Brien?
Yes.
And Bob Connors. Okay. Good evening. This open meeting of the Newbury Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, and extended until March 31st, 2025, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with the agenda materials for this meeting, allow public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of this meeting. Please note this meeting is being recorded and that attendees are participating by video conference. All right, well, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Leslie. We have Select Board Member Leslie Matthews. All right, upcoming meeting dates, March 5th, 2024, March 19th, 2024. Okay, we have meeting minute review for January 2nd and February 6th.
I did not get those minutes out to you guys. I apologize for that. I'll send them to Sean for the next meeting.
Okay, thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
No problem, and thank you,
Oh,
Sam,
actually,
for all your efforts.
the November minutes should be in there. It's just the February ones. The November minutes were the ones at the last meeting that we skipped over because we didn't have enough people.
Okay, you know what I think? Why don't we just put them all off until our next meeting? I think that.
Okay.
You know what it is that I only have on our minute review January 2nd and February 6th. So.
Sorry, yeah, it's the January one. Sorry,
Right.
Getting all my dates mixed up.
Okay, so I think we'll just push that off to our March 5th. March 5th meeting.
Okay.
All right. So first matter before us is DEP file number 0501340 6 Marsh Meadow Lane for work to construct a two-family dwelling with associated site work. Team, as you recall, the order of conditions had expired on this. We had discussed this at the last meeting. And the suggestion to the resident was to file for a certificate of compliance, simply stating that none of the work has been completed, and thereby would clear the title for the order of conditions that is on his chain of title at this point. So why don't I stop there? Any questions on this matter? Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 6 Marsh Meadow Lane?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Roll call vote. All in favor? TJ?
Aye.
Woody?
Yes.
Nick?
Aye.
Diane?
Yes.
And Bob Connors votes yes. All right. The next matter is an update on the status of an enforcement order at 42B Cottage Road. Sam, can you provide an update on this matter? I see Tom Hughes is on the call. You want to give us a quick recap on this, if you may?
Yeah, so this one was the work, it was the dock that got that had some work done to it. It got expanded on a small area without any permits. This one was originally, it got superseding approval from DEP. And so it was everything was under DEP's kind of jurisdiction at that point. When we issued the enforcement order, it got issued for just to restore the dock to the state that it was approved for, which has all been completed. And I think there was just some question about the height of the dock. And I think there was a little bit of confusion and kind of back and forth about whether the dock should be restored to the appropriate height for what's approved or what could be approved now. But I mean, the dock was originally approved by DEP. It was a while ago. It was before the regulations that we have now. So unfortunately, I don't really think that we have any room really to say that we want it to be changed. If it's going to be changed and the dock is going to be heightened, or if the height's going to be increased, they would need to file a whole entire new notice of intent to get that done. So that can't really be covered under the enforcement order because right now it's at what it was originally approved at. So I think at this point, we just need to close out the enforcement order.
Okay. Yeah, I think we were just, Tom was, as I recall, and certainly Tom will speak to this. It was sketchy on the original documentation. We did not have a file due to mold mildew problems in the past. And Tom, you were going to secure these from DEP. And I think that's where it was left. It was just to double check that the elevation. So Tom, please give us your name and
Yeah, sure. So Tom Hughes with Hughes Environmental Consulting, and the clients are traveling. They actually left yesterday. They're hoping to be able to log in, but they didn't know if they would have Wi-Fi and the ability to. But yes, as we left it, you may recall, we sent in a picture demonstrating we'd done the work, but then it was put on the discussion kind of last minute without a lot of time for us to prepare, a full presentation on it. And then there were too many questions to really close it out. And afterwards, I reached out to DEP, and Jill Provincial at DEP sent me copies of plans, the order. It turns out that a certificate of compliance was obtained in 2018 as part of negotiations on some land ownership easement issues with the neighbor. I was unaware of that superseding, certificate having been issued. So what that demonstrates is DEP was okay with the height as it existed prior to the work. The approved plan is a hand-drawn dock with no profile view, no height requirement, and the superseding order had no height requirement. So what I did after that is I both looked at some pictometry images, and I also obtained LiDAR data from years before the work was done, and I produced a graphic, which I can pull up if you'd like, but what I was able to demonstrate was what the elevation of the dock was prior to this work having been done. And then through spot grades on an as-built survey plan, I'm able to show you that the height, if anything, went up by about 4 inches, but basically none of the posts were touched. They essentially redecked the walkway. When they did it, the big problem, one was not getting an RDA through with you guys to do it. And the other one was that they thought they could cantilever out and make this wider over the salt marsh. That cantilever part has been removed, and it is now in line with what was approved by DEP. So at this point, I can go through the whole package of material I submitted, but I think it's pretty straightforward at this point. We've got the documentation. Sam was copied on all the emails with DEP. So I think we have the record to support lifting the enforcement order and letting these folks move on to enjoy the next boating season.
okay. Thank you, Tom. So just to do a recap, team, the original enforcement order was issued. The deck had been expanded and cantilevered in addition to the original approved superseding order. That was rectified, and the remaining question was, as Tom stated, on elevation. And it would seem DEP issuing a certificate of compliance closes that issue for me. So any questions for Tom? Woody, any questions for Tom?
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you, Bob.
Okay. Mick, any questions for Tom on this matter?
No, sir. Questions?
Okay, thank you, Mick. TJ, any questions for Tom on this matter?
No, I saw the pictures, self-explanatory. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. And Diane, how about yourself? Any questions for Tom?
No, thank you, Tom, for submitting everything.
No problem.
And I have no questions. Are there any raised hands from the public on this matter? Okay, I don't see anyone. Steve Manchin, are you? No, that's my little hand was on Steve. Okay, is there a motion to close the enforcement order for 42B Cottage Road?
So moved.
Second,
Okay, roll call vote. All in favor? TJ,
Aye.
Woody,
Aye.
Mick,
Aye.
Diane,
yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Tom.
All right.
Now, hey, Tom, are you sticking around for 3:30 third, or do you just want to let us know that you're seeking an extension?
So I requested a continuance after the neighbor's attorney sent some rather colorful emails and could not make it tonight. So we just, rather than appearing to try to cram something through, we just have agreed to continue to the next meeting, but we do believe our full submission is in and we'll be ready to go.
Okay. So when we get to that matter, March 5th, the first meeting is when you're looking
Yes,
to do
yeah,
this?
we don't
Okay.
want to delay it any longer. It's been
Okay.
long enough.
Okay,
So,
thank you, Tom.
yeah, thank you. And have a great evening, guys.
Okay,
Thank you.
so the next order of business is a public hearing for 94 Northern Boulevard for work to construct landscaping, hardscaping, and paving work. There was not a DEP file number assigned. I don't know, I haven't checked today. Sam, do you know if a number got issued on this? I
There is still no file number for this one. I
Okay.
don't know what's happening with it. I reached out to DEP a little while ago and I got Alicia's voicemail. So I'll give her another call
Okay,
tomorrow and see where that one's at. It's not even showing up in the portal at
Yeah.
all
all right,
right now, which is very strange. So
okay,
and it doesn't look like the applicant or their representative are in here right now. So
yeah, no, I think as chair, I'm gonna deem the submittal incomplete, lacking that file number and any technical comments. And I would entertain a motion to continue this public hearing to the March 5th meeting.
So
So
moved.
moved. Second,
Okay. Okay, all those in favor of continuing this public hearing to March 5th, please say aye. TJ,
Aye.
Woody,
Aye.
Mick,
Aye.
Diane,
yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. All right, the next order of business is DEP file number 0501386, 333rd Street, for work to install a driveway to provide an on-site parking with associated site work, including work within the 33rd Street right-of-way. The applicant has asked for a continuance to our March 5th hearing. The backstory on this team was when our meeting got rescheduled from Tuesday till tonight, the abutters attorney could not make tonight's meeting. And although it's been properly noticed for us to continue, the applicant to their credit, wants to be fair with the abutter, so. So that is it. So is there a motion to continue this matter to the March 5th conservation meeting?
So moved.
Second,
Okay. All those in favor? TJ?
aye.
Woody?
Aye.
Mick?
Aye.
Diane?
Yes.
And Bob Connors votes yes. All right, that actually concludes our action items tonight. So under administration. So staff reports. Well, team, I want to introduce Sean Young. Sean is our new conservation agent. He's got big shoes to fill for Sam's job. And Sam, thank you for shadowing us tonight and helping us get through all this. And
Yeah, absolutely. And I've already told Sean, and I'm going to reach out to Tracy just to make sure that she's okay with everything. I am still planning on sticking around for a while to at least be able to help Sean out if he needs anything, and make sure that everything's getting taken care of and we don't just kind of throw him to the wolves right off the bat and leave him hanging, trying to figure everything out on his own. So I'm planning on sticking around, and I'll probably try to get into some of the next few meetings and stuff too, just to make sure that, especially with 33rd Street and some things that are kind of
sure.
still lingering from before he started, to make sure that all the information gets passed down, and any of that stuff that I've watched happen through over the last couple of years gets passed into meetings, stuff that he might not necessarily know about. So
Yeah, well, thank you for doing that, Sam. Your empirical knowledge of a lot of these open matters is simply invaluable to the commission, and to the community and the applicants. All right, CSO release discussion. Well, usually Brad Duffin is the one that kind of bird dogs this for us. I think we've had a record year of CSOs. I don't know if we've quite hit 1 billion gallons of, untreated sewage coming down the river, which is just, it's almost incredible to think that that's even possible. But it is what it is, and the powers to be are working on it. The other thing is just a report. I sat in on a meeting today at Town Hall with the police chief, fire chief, and I think it was a town administrator, and Alicia Greco, with the Audubon, Mass Audubon, under their coastal waterbird program, having a preliminary discussion of the upcoming season of birds, and how we might be able to improve the effort and respect private property rights while protecting the birds. So it's discussion that's in process. A lot of good points were discussed. A couple of questions were raised that where the town is hiring Mass Audubon as their agent to undertake this important work. What, if any, requirements for that work taking place in the resource area? Does that require an RDA or any type of consult with Conservation Commission, as a typical homeowner may do when they're just putting a roof on their home, putting a ladder on dune grass? So we had a pretty good roundtable, and Sean sat in on that as well. But I think we made some good progress, and big collaborative effort to help us get through the season. And that's all I have to say. Why don't we go around to the commission and see if anyone has any questions or comments or last words? Diane, you're the one I'm looking at.
I have my hand down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, you mentioned the birds, and I mean, I know just from talking with the people across the street from me that the flagging and the signs and the ropes, they go up without the homeowner even knowing about it. So I know in the past this has been discussed where Audubon says that they send something out to people and they have the permission of the landowners, but some landowners that I've spoken to don't give permission and probably would not if they had a choice. So I don't know if that was discussed this morning.
Yeah, it
Or
was
at least not to
actually-
the point where it is. It goes like
Yeah.
last year, the fencing went all the way down to the water line. And then into the water line. So it became a thing where you literally could not pass without kind of going into the water line there. So do they have to get permission? Do you know?
Well, we actually discussed that. We had kind of a roundtable discussion of, the police chief had a number of, everyone that fields calls either from the public or from Mass Audubon, offered some good commentary. One of the things that was discussed today was that the town should entertain having the Audubon seek and get indemnification agreements with property owners in advance of doing any work. A lot of property owners that may want to participate within the CWP would like that type of protection. And I think that would be a good first step for, one, the public to be notified and the town to have documentation that their agent just isn't trespassing on private property, even with the best of intentions. The other matter that was discussed was having a safe travel way between the high tide mark and any of the fencing or barriers that may be installed. And it was discussed that a minimum of 25 feet should be left open between high tide and that symbolic fencing to allow public trust doctrine, pass, repass, and access for emergency vehicles in case we have an emergency. So it's kind of work in process, Diane, but we did have a lot of discussions about that. And I think the good thing is we all are on a email thread. So as issues arise, the team involved will be able to respond quickly or receive information quickly if there's an issue. One of the big complaints that the police had, I shouldn't say that, they'd be called down to the beach. The bird monitor would be telling a resident that they're going to be arrested for having their dog on the beach.
Thank you.
And when the police would show up, the discussion would be had and the police officer would inform them that this is an administrative citation, a ticket that we're going to issue and that no one is arrested. So I think it was just, again, I left that meeting and Sean, you could chime in. It was just really having better communication so that their employees of Mass Audubon understand our bylaws and the extent of jurisdiction, and that in the future, if any of these issues come up, we have the whole team involved of Mass Audubon, so that if there's a monitor that is unfamiliar with that, dogs are allowed on the beach prior to 8:30 or after 5:30, that there is no leash law and dogs are allowed on private property. It's not regulated, can't be regulated. One thing that we did discuss was the suggestion came up of having signs installed at all the right-of-ways that during the nesting season, that we would recommend that dog owners entertain leashing their dogs in the areas that have fencing. So that, one, to minimize any disturbance, and two, to support the effort. So that was pretty much it, but that was the recap to date. Anything else, Diane, before I move on?
Yeah, I just know that the monitors don't make any differentiation at all between the public beach and the private beach. And I've asked supervisors to call me. I've never had my dog on the beach unleashed, but I've been told in private land that I can't even have my dog on the beach on a leash. And when I've tried to explain to them that it's private, they say, no, this is all public. And then I've asked to have supervisors call me and they never do. But just, that's it. That's my
Yeah.
soapbox for
They
today.
actually have a map of the beach.
They don't.
So, well, no,
They
Mass
have it, they might
Audubon
not
does.
use it.
well, I think, you know what, they're passionate about their mission, so we're trying to overcome that, and if that happens again and one of those reports comes in from the police or from a citizen or someone that's going to the beach, we have a kind of the chain of command to address it immediately. And I think that's going to go a long way in trying to resolve some of this stuff so that people don't dislike these little birds that we actually want to keep. So, okay, thank you. Mick, any comments or any final words of wisdom you want to?
No, I think I'm good. No, I was unaware of the kind of the details of the regulations. I do take my dog on the beach as well. We do try to keep them controlled, but
Yeah,
you know, maybe some signage, just reminding people would be helpful.
the bylaw allows dogs in the beach between April 15th and September 15th before 8:30 and after 5:30. And that supersedes anything else. On private property, which Massachusetts being a low water state, a majority of the beach is actually the front yard of private homes. And there is no regulation. The police, and it's confirmed by the chief, cannot and have no authority to regulate dog activity on the private sections of the beach. So, but again, you know what, if there's symbolic signs up in a certain area of the beach suggesting people keep the dogs in the leash, I think it'll go a long way in helping the effort and keeping people out of trouble. Anything else, Mick?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mick. Woody, any comments you want to offer?
No, just basically, I recently read that the Pipe and Plovers are doing the best, the most chicks in 40 years. And it's, the Audubon's passionate about their job, so
Yep.
it can be complicated going back and forth. And we don't have a leash law in town, even though there's a beach rules. And I've seen a dog come out of a house on Old Point Road and help himself to a swim on the beach. So it's kind of complicated, and it's good to hear that people are talking about it. So
No, that's it. And one thing which was really amazing, there was a colony of terns on the beach, which is, I guess, the largest area where they had all the barriers, and there were 175 birds there.
yeah.
They're
And
nasty.
really, but Woody, any other comments you want to add before we move on?
Nothing other than welcome, Steve. Sean, welcome
Yeah.
to the board.
Thank you. It's nice to meet all my commissioners and the other town members from Newbury in this meeting. Just wanted to thank you and for me being part of the community as well.
No,
Helping
thank
out.
you. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
TJ, any comments you have?
I
Anything you'd
just
like to add?
Yeah, just thanks, Sam, thank you for your help.
Yeah.
And especially since I've been on the board, you've been very instrumental in keeping us on the straight and narrow there, and welcome, Sean. I'm sure you do a great job.
Thank you.
Okay. Leslie,
Hey, Bob. Just wanted to welcome Sean on board. I have had the opportunity to review your credentials and if you could provide anything a little bit more in depth, because I know that the description of the job was a little bit more than what you're providing to us, but it looks like you're gonna do a good job, and we appreciate that, you're taking us into consideration and you're coming on board to help us out.
Yep, I can certainly do that if you want to hear it now or.
No,
or
we
later.
can do it at another time. That would be awesome.
Okay.
And I'm part of the select board, so that, just so you know, that we'll be running into each other on a regular
Yep.
basis.
Okay.
All righty.
Look forward to it.
Leslie, anything else?
Nope, that's all I have for tonight, Bob.
Okay, well, thank you, Leslie. All right, team, as we have no other business at tonight's meeting, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? TJ,
Aye.
Woody,
Aye.
Mick,
Aye.
Diane,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Good night,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye.